My dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am MS Mazhar from Nova CSS Academy Islamabad, and in this video I will tell you about different types of paragraph or different types of discourse. And the reason is that today I was visited by some old students of mine who wanted to learn something about paragraph writing because they are the candidates for the upcoming PMS examination of the Punjab, in which they are supposed to write a paragraph of 200 words on one of the given 4 or 5 topics in the paper of English Precis, Comprehension and Translation. I explained paragraph writing to them, but then I thought of making a video for those students who also want to appear in the upcoming PMS examination, but because of certain reasons, it is not possible for them to make it to the academy and learn from me in person about paragraph writing. My dear students, there are 4 different types of paragraph or 4 different modes of discourse. These are: number 1, a descriptive paragraph or descriptive mode of discourse. Number 2, an expository paragraph or expository mode of discourse. Number 3, a narrative paragraph or narrative mode of discourse. And number 4, a persuasive paragraph or persuasive mode of discourse. Practically speaking, we do not use each one of these different modes of discourse or types of paragraph while writing our paragraphs in practical life. Actually, we use a mix of all these different modes of discourse while writing our essays and paragraphs, but in our paragraphs, one of these 4 different modes of discourse becomes prominent and dominant, and it is because of its dominance that we identify our paragraphs with it. And then we call our paragraphs to be descriptive or narrative or expository or persuasive. Now, I tell you about these 4 different types of discourse or types of paragraphs. First of all, I tell you about a descriptive paragraph. A descriptive paragraph is used to give sensory details of something, to describe something in such a way that a person who has never seen that thing can make a mental picture of that thing by simply going through the details that we have provided in our descriptive paragraph. For example, if a person has never seen an elephant and we describe the elephant in our descriptive paragraph by giving all the sensory details about its size, its body parts, its skin color, its movement, etc., then the person must be able to make a mental picture of the elephant by simply going through the details provided by us in our descriptive paragraph. In case of a narrative paragraph, we relate a story or narrate a story. A story is usually build up of different events which happened in the past. In order to write a story or make a narrative discourse in writing, we first of all decide the order of different events that will form the basis of our story, and then we relate those events with one another in such a way that it makes the whole story sensible. In story, there are some very essential elements that we must be familiar of. One of them is plot, second one is character, third one is event, fourth one is action, which is the movement of the story from one event to the next event, and so on. Suspense is also an important element of story writing. Now I tell you about expository paragraphs. These are the paragraphs which are usually given to the students of different types of advanced level examinations. An expository form of discourse or mode of discourse or type of paragraph is one in which we explain a topic, and the topic may be about a process or a phenomenon or a system. For example, if we are asked to write on the civil-military relationship in Pakistan, or the democracy in Pakistan, or the process of deglobalization or climate change, then all these topics would require us to write expository paragraphs. In order to produce our expository paragraphs, we first of all make a great deal of authentic research, gather all the information and knowledge, and then we fix that knowledge in our paragraphs in such a way that the topic stands explained. And now I tell you about the persuasive mode of writing or mode of discourse or persuasive paragraph. A persuasive paragraph is meant to persuade our audience or reader in favor of our particular point of view or our opinion. In order to make the audience get convinced by us, we use the force of our argumentation. I hope that most of you understand what is argumentation or what is an argument. Some people call persuasive paragraphs as argumentative paragraphs. There are three distinct parts of an argument. The first one is premise. It is on the basis of which we develop our argument or we want to substantiate our point of view. Then comes the evidence and scrutiny of the evidence with the help of logical reasoning. And the third one is the logical conclusion that is automatically derived from our reasoning and premise. It is on the basis of reasoning that we can convince our audience in favor of our particular point of view. You must also understand that two distinct forms of reasoning are inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning. And it is because of these two different forms of reasoning that the arguments which are based on inductive reasoning are called inductive arguments, and the arguments which are based on deductive reasoning are called deductive arguments. In our essays of advanced level examinations, when we create our argumentative paragraphs, we mostly make use of inductive arguments or inductive reasoning. And I hope that most of you already understand that an inductive reasoning is used when we come up from specific to the general idea. And the deductive argumentation is when we use a general idea on different specific cases. I would once again explain that in case of the inductive argumentation, we pick up different examples or different cases, and with the help of case studies or argumentation of different cases, we arrive on the one same common conclusion, which is the point of view that we want to justify in our argumentative essays, which are built up by means of argumentative paragraphs. Now, in case of the PMS examination of the Punjab, the students are generally given either the argumentative topics or expository topics. For example, in the last examination of 2022, they gave you a topic as neocolonization. This time it is possible that they can give you a topic on deglobalization. That is why in this video I will specifically talk about writing an expository paragraph. In an expository paragraph, first of all, you will use all all the different mechanics of paragraph writing to explain your point of view. So far as the paragraph mechanics are concerned, I hope most of you already understand that these paragraphic mechanics include proper beginning, proper middle, proper end, unity of thought, coherence, and organization of your thought in a paragraph. In order to write an expository paragraph, I would advise you to first of all use first one or two sentences to define the topic. For example, if the topic is deglobalization, you will first of all define what deglobalization is in one or two initial sentences. While doing so, you will also make a juxtaposition of deglobalization with globalization. In the next part of your paragraph, which is the proper middle, you will come up with different areas or realms in which the process of deglobalization is most visible. And while in this part of your paragraph writing, you will also support your points of view with relevant examples. In the last part of your paragraph, which is the proper end, you will conclude your discussion or your explanation. For example, in case of a paragraph on deglobalization, your last sentence can be like this. I read it for you. Both the processes of globalization and deglobalization are at work in the modern world, and only time can decide as to which one of these two will decide the future world. I hope that you will be in a position to understand about different types of paragraphs, and you can easily write your paragraph when you are in the examination hall. Here, I would also like to give you a few pieces of advice in your examination. Number one, first of all, write or jot down a few initial points on your last writable page of the answer book, which you can use for your rough work. This is the brainstorming session. You do this brainstorming for around 5 to 6 minutes for only one paragraph. After you have jotted down certain points, pick up the most important and the most relevant points and make a mental plan of your paragraph. Then while writing your paragraph, you use all the mechanics of paragraph writing. Use sentence linkers and discourse markers to properly connect your ideas in the form of your sentences. This would make you able to organize your whole thought and also make coherence between different ideas which you share in the form of your paragraph. Do not forget to properly, wisely, and intelligently conclude your paragraph in one last sentence. I would also advise you to spend only 30 to 35 minutes to complete this task, because you have lots of other things to do in this paper. I hope that while practicing at home, you will take care of all these pieces of advice that I have rendered to you, and I pray that you get maximum marks. Do not forget to revise your paragraph before you are done with this task. Whenever you will revise your paragraph, it is very much possible that there would be certain grammatical and language mistakes that would come to your notice, and you can correct those mistakes to maximize your marks. Thank you very much for watching this video. With all the best prayers for your success in this examination, I say Allah Hafiz to all of you.